Hello and welcome to the special holiday edition of A Life Worth Being. I'm your host, Sue Willoughby, and I am here today to thank each and every one of you for listening to the show and being a loyal follower. And I hope that you're sharing these episodes with your friends and family and whoever else you think might benefit from my amazing guests. I'd also like to thank each of my guests that I've had on the show. We've had almost 30 episodes, and it's just been an incredible ride for me to interview these people and hear their stories and just share all of their knowledge and their willingness to be vulnerable on this show and talk to me about all of the things that are important to them and that have gotten them where they are today. So I hope that you've been getting value and inspiration from this podcast, because that's what it's all about. And I want to continue to bring that to you in 2025. So please continue to listen and subscribe and rate and all that good stuff, right? I'm here to push the show a little bit, but I really wanted to thank you. And today we're doing a little bit of a different show. We're doing a compilation of some of my episodes over the course of the past 6 months when we started in June. So just sit back and enjoy. And if there's any episodes that you missed, go back and give them another listen, or you want to listen to them again. So there you go. It's all good. It's all fun. And have a safe, wonderful holiday season. And I'm going to be bringing you some more amazing guests in 2025. So tune in, don't go anywhere, and enjoy the holidays, enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, and make some really wonderful connections with people that you haven't seen in a while. It's the time of year to do that. Smile at somebody that you don't know and just get out there and connect, rehumanize. Please, I'm begging you. Okay. We need you. Raise the vibration level. All right. All right. Enjoy the rest of the show and happy holidays. Thank you so much for being here.
So whenever I'm doing Reiki healing on one of my clients, I act as I call myself like a vessel. I open up to the universal energy, and it goes down through my head and out through my hands. And that's how I send the Reiki onto my clients. So it's nothing like they get my energy or, vice versa. It's just like like a flow of pure light from the universe.
Awesome. Yeah, I like it's like you're like a conduit. Yeah. No,
yes.
Seriously, you're like a conduit. It just flows through you. It doesn't. And yes, as a Reiki practitioner, I know that, and I also use Reiki in my equine bodywork practice as well. And you do have to have some sort of protection so that you don't then also take other people's energy with you, just since we're talking about energy here. And what is the biggest thing that you notice as a Reiki practitioner? What is the biggest, like, not takeaway, but what is it about Reiki that, just tell me a little bit more about your feelings about Reiki and why you were drawn to it as well.
No one has ever asked me that question. Thank you for asking that question. Yeah. Okay, so the thing about Reiki is that it's very simple in itself. It's, for me, it's very pure, and there's like no shenanigans. It's just like, okay, this is what you get. I open up, the Reiki comes through, you get it, the clients receive it in any type of form. They will have an experience. And what the only thing I'm hoping for is that they feel relaxed.
If someone can come up and say, well, this is what I believe, to me, that's a clear indication that it's just simply a belief. It doesn't necessarily mean it's an experience or part of who they really see themselves as. And so we get to explore that together and dig a little deeper and say, okay, so where did this belief come from? And again, we're not exploring where it came from in order to justify or vilify. We're simply asking a question. Because if we can understand where it came from, we can then move on to the next question as to whether or not it continues to serve the horizons, the frontiers of our experience. And if it's no longer serving us, we get to say thank you, honor it, set it down.
Yeah.
And by setting down that belief that it no longer serves us, we're freeing up our capacity to pick up new and exciting things, to explore and discover things that might not have even come into our consciousness existing. I can tell you, when I was 20 years old, I never imagined I would not be in the corporate world. Because that's what I was raised to do. That's how you bring value and worth to the world. And that's your job, is to bring value and worth to the world. And so when we're faced with a crossroads, or we're faced with something that feels like a conflict, to me, going back and determining, what is my belief about my career? And do I truly believe that the only way to add value to this world is through a corporate job? Or are there other possibilities out there that I can explore, either tangentially or in parallel paths to that corporate career, until I feel comfortable to make the step?
Until it had more arms and legs. It's like an inspirational book, or that you change the words of the goal to make it more inspirational, something we'll take action towards. How does it feel in the body when we say our goal? And it's not about, I think sometimes we try and focus on the goal itself. It's not, no, you can have the same goal. It's just, let's think about the specific words, and are those words helping or hindering you in reducing the gap between where you are and where you want to be? Because so often our language is, and then I sometimes, even in procurement, I just love sort of doing a word audit with teams to go, it's really interesting, you're using this word a lot, about stakeholders particularly. It's quite often some of their language about, earlier this year, I wrote a whole list of words that they'd used to describe the people that they were wanting to work with that were less than helpful in terms of, where does your brain, and I didn't tell them I'd done it, so I just wrote the words down, and then when we came back together, I said, just have a look at this list of words. What do you think about people if you describe them as such, and what's your behaviour towards them going to be? And they said resistant, or we're going to be resistant. We're not going to trust them, etc., etc. And I sort of went, okay, so they're all the words that when we were last together you used to describe your stakeholders. Do you now understand that the words you're using?
I mean, it was like I felt shame to be in recovery, that I couldn't, drink with impunity, as they say in AA, with the rest of my colleagues, and so, I would either, not attend functions, or, tell people I was, on some medication that I couldn't drink on, or, I didn't know how to handle it. Yeah. And yet at the same time, in the community, I was on this pink cloud, like, everybody ought to do the 12 steps. It's a great way to live your life and all the things. But so the stigma smashing is so important.
Yeah.
I think.
And what I'm hearing from you is that it's not just the stigma of having a relationship with alcohol that you can't handle. It's then the stigma of flipping the switch on that relationship and actually quitting drinking or changing your relationship with alcohol. Mm-hmm. And then another layer is being able to exist in your community outside of your recovery community, with the quote unquote normal people that are drinking freely at parties, at dinner parties, at whatever. And I mean, your friends,
little awards granted and all that. So it was great. But how did I stay positive? As for me, faith is huge, right? So I kept my eyes on God instead of my problems, because I was, feeling like I was down spiraling, losing your home and losing your cars and having to put your kids in other family members' homes so they don't sleep in the car with you. Like that kind of stuff was tough. And I was like, I just remember one day, like screaming up to God. And I'm like, this is unfair. This is unfair. What's going on here? Why is this happening to me? And almost like an impression, almost like an audible voice I heard say, I told you to be obedient. I didn't tell you it would be easy. And as soon as I heard that, I corrected my steps and I kept going forward. And I ended up being the valedictorian of the school. I graduated with a 4.2 or 4.5 GPA. I had all these remarks. I had a full scholarship ride now onto my bachelor's degree because this was my associate's degree. I had a full ride to my bachelor's degree, left college without one dime of owed money. And I graduated there with a, 4.0 or whatever it was, and went on to my career. And in the meantime, also becoming a spiritual coach and leader and leading women and seeing the breakthrough in their lives and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's how you stay positive. You keep one day at a time, one moment at a time. Because if I keep looking back, I'm never going to go forward. And if I was looking too forward, I would feel depressed because how am I going to get there? Especially if you're homeless or you're struggling or you have financial issues, like it's hard. So one day at a time, one moment at a time. That's all I did every single day until I got there.
Yeah, that is
the right people. And now people are using AI to do a lot of things. And if you're not really savvy with it, then you're getting a generic AI message. And that's going to be even further off of who your target audience is. So rolling it all the way back to the beginning and really figure out who are your customers, who is the audience that you want to reach, and who, and how are you going to reach them? What's the demographic for them? Like for you, for coaching, you coach for women. Like, are you specifically coaching for women that are over 40? Okay.
Yes.
So that's perfect, right? You know exactly who they are. You know exactly, this is exactly. So then all your language is geared towards this. And then you just, you work it into everything that you're doing. Like, are you an over 40 woman are you trying to create your next act in, your kids have grown up, you just hit that stage where you have the empty nest. What is the next thing that you're going to do? Like, this is who you're trying to reach. And then where are you going to find these people? You can find these people on Pinterest. You can find these people on Facebook. You can find them on LinkedIn. So then just, figure out where your audience is, and then just you're targeting that audience. And then you get into things like keywords. So then, you're reaching, you're coaching over 40 women, and those are the keywords that you're going to make sure that you put in titles of things, in the body of things, and in your hashtags. And then you have a hashtag strategy that you can create for your small business. Create a hashtag strategy with like 5 to 10 hashtags and really research them. I like to use Instagram to research my hashtags the most. LinkedIn also does a lot of hashtags too. So choose some and then click on them and really look in the feed to see what is at the top of these feeds. Like, say that you're looking for like female entrepreneurs.